Hey Aquarius, what's going on? We're here with a timeless reading. Welcome. The deck that I'm using is called the Fountain Tarot. For anybody that is curious, we're starting off with Ten of Swords and Page of Pentacles. All right. This doesn't feel like a foreboding. If anything, it feels like something has happened. You can be like struggling a little bit with it right now. You can feel pressed by it. Page of Pentacles is going to be something that will help this, something that will alleviate it. I'm seeing the Hierophant here. So if you're going through something, you can be seeking solace, seeking guidance, seeking knowledge, understanding, information, kind of like looking for answers. Ten of Swords can be something where just because of the way that it affects us mentally, we can really be struggling with it. Like it can be a lot to try to process. Ten of Swords can feel very painful because of just how much is going on, and it can feel stressful because of that. Page of Coins is going to be what you will do for yourself and or somebody else that's coming through that's going to be helpful. What's going to be helpful? If you look at the Hierophant card here, if you look at the Hierophant card, it's like somebody looking in here to find answers. And I get the sense Hierophant is going to be connected with like divine wisdom or a wise energy. So even if it's just like you casually having a conversation with someone, you can feel like they tell you something and it really resonates with you and it's really helpful. It's less about sort of where it's coming from and more so about the quality of what you're receiving. And Hierophant is going to give you some like divine inspiration when it comes to this thing that you're going through currently. Ten of Swords can definitely feel like a lot at one time. Like everything is happening in this moment. So what's going to help? It feels like opening yourself to what's coming. There are answers that are being put together. I want to say this because it's something that I'm seeing here. Even though Ten of Swords can be a lot, when you get outside of your attachment to whatever this is that's happening in the way that it is, and as you take a step outside of this thing is happening and I don't feel okay with it, or it shouldn't be happening like this, or I'm just so overwhelmed right now, I'm having a hard time process. When you take a step back, what you're going to see, what you're going to find is that this thing that has concluded now, which because it's a conclusion, you're basically being released, even though there can be parts of you that are still dealing with this, from a step back away from this, like more objectively sort of panning out here, what I'm seeing is that Ten of Swords, as difficult as it can be to go through, it feels like it's released you and it's actually helping you step into where you're meant to be stepping into. The Hierophant is feeling so many things can be connected with the Hierophant. There can be like deeper meaning and deeper answers that you're finding. You can be pursuing something now, released from that and able to pursue something that you want to pursue. This looks like something that you're working on, something that you've been putting together, or something that you've been sort of putting your energy into. The Hierophant can be this thing that happened, it's leading me in a direction where I've been, because I'm seeing that this is something that you've been working on. It's not like I'm freshly leaving this and now I'm freshly stepping into the next thing. This feels with Ten of Swords like something has happened, I'm still sort of dealing with it. At the same time, it has released me into Hierophant and Eight of Pentacles, which feels like I can be working on my inner authority by doing this. I can be discovering things about my spirituality. I can be finding big life answers here for myself. And there's immense wisdom that I'm gaining. And it's something that I've been creating a foundation with, and I'm getting better at answering these questions for myself. Hierophant in this spread energetically is feeling like the higher mind here. Like it's feeling very Sagittarius, like very ninth house within the birth chart, which the Hierophant actually does, even though it does zodiac wise represent Taurus, it also represents the ninth house. And I really feel that coming through from this. So there can be some like bigger life philosophies or understanding, or like stuff about like your existentialism or your spirituality that you've been developing because of this, because of being released from this past cycle. Like it's helping you find that within you. It's like the Hierophant in this setting kind of reminds me of, the Hierophant can be seen as like a guide or a guru or somebody that has an understanding of things in more of a cosmic way. But rather than this feeling like I'm seeking a person out, this feels like I'm developing that within myself. And maybe if you hadn't gone through Ten of Swords, it's like this sort of needed to happen in order for you to be able to step into this for yourself. And I'm seeing so much wisdom that you've been gaining. I'm also seeing something going on which can feel like you're still processing what that was that had happened, and you can also feel like you're not fully developed on this other side of things either. But with Temperance here, it's just a reminder for you to be patient as you're figuring things out and things are falling into place, and knowing that it's happening at the exact right time too. Like the vibe that I'm getting from this Temperance card is that like as soon as you put a certain piece somewhere, that's exactly when it's supposed to be being put there. So you're right on time. Absolutely. And it's kind of like that every time. It's like every time you figure the thing out and then put the piece where it's supposed to go, that is the exact moment that it's supposed to be there. And it's like again and again and again that keeps happening. So I'm seeing that's what's going on. So it feels like on this like new side of things where you are, or like more fresh side of things where you've been working on stuff for yourself. I also feel too like having the Hierophant here, this can also be about building a sense of security for yourself as well. And there can be things about your values that you're learning too and developing, where again, like rather than looking to somebody else and being like, what do you think, and basing your values off of this, it's like basing your values off of like what you think, you know, and what you have been developing and the answers that you're finding and answering for yourself, those types of things. So this is all based off of you, because I'm seeing you come out as the Hierophant here, and it's feeling like a very, very wise energy that you've developed within you. In a broader sense too. Some of you, this even took an esoteric direction. Oh, we do have Sag here with Temperance. So we have Taurus and we have Sag here. Speaking of the ninth house. Even though there's a lot of stuff going on, I feel like in this moment, the most prominent thing that I'm seeing with Temperance is you being reassured that everything is happening like on time. Because as much as you are playing a part, it's like the timing within a song where you're coming in and it has to be like at a certain rhythm, you know, on the beat, and it just so happens that every time you're doing something that's associated with this, it really is like right on time, like right on the beat, right when it's supposed to be happening. So definitely feels like a divine cosmic dance that's playing out here. It just so happens to be perfectly melodic and rhythmic. Now I'm seeing Queen of Wands come out, and having Queen of Wands And having Temperance here can mean that there's stuff about yourself that you're developing. Like you can be developing your confidence, you can be developing your self-trust, you can be developing your self-expression, how you show up, how you represent yourself in a way that feels authentic to you. Finding your voice can be part of this too. But it can be your voice in ways that, like, yes, it can be you speaking, but it's just expression in general. Your constitution can be part of this too, Aquarius. You could feel too like, so that thing that ended with the Ten of Swords, you could feel that while you were within that, you weren't able to develop certain parts of yourself. So it released you sort of to be able to do that within your life, to be able to do that at this time within your journey. Because of the way that the Ten of Swords happened, there could have been like a little seed of fear that this planted within you because of the way that things can change, and that could have felt destabilizing. So as you are building more of your understanding of what security feels like to you and what's representative of that for you personally, I do get the sense of like I went through this and certain triggers that I felt because of what I was going through have now driven me to find like deeper answers. Some of you too, I wonder if something could have gone on as well that felt, even just an example, could have felt existential. Like something had happened and you're like, wow, how quickly things can end, or just the fact that they end at all. And then there could have been like a fear that birthed within you of, wow, things changed, like things don't stay the same. But then I'm seeing the Hierophant be the saving grace. So it can be, you know, I've had a really big fear about death and about things changing, even if it's like metaphorically speaking, or even if it's more like energetically speaking. Like it doesn't have to be a physical death that's occurring. This can be like the death of a cycle where you're going to be stepping into the next cycle after that. There could have been a fear that was associated with like the change, like what's coming for me, what's going to be happening, am I just at the mercy sort of the whims of the universe and how things will go. And I'm seeing the Hierophant be like finding a type of wisdom that is untouchable. And it feels ironic because Taurus is associated with like material things, even though it's not only associated with that. Taurus for the most part can be seen as being like in a worldly material way, but I'm seeing you kind of tap into the energy in a different way, where rather than it only being like security in a material sense, this feels like in a more like divine spiritual sense of, I'm feeling very motivated by this fear. I'm going to allow it to motivate me to find deeper answers that I'm looking for, so I don't have to feel scared anymore. Or so I don't have to fear the change anymore. Fear was going to happen, and that I'm finding this, I'm hearing restitution for some of you. I'm finding this peace within me that is untouchable no matter what's going on physically. So I get something like that, where this is definitely like a positive, beneficial way to use anxiety and to use fear, when you're like, I'm scared of that thing, and so I'm gonna try to find answers, you know, like I don't want to stay stuck within this. I want to find like a higher meaning or a higher purpose. And that's what it feels like with the Hierophant, that these are where you find answers, that and understanding and ultimately remembering that can't be taken away from you. You can't be stripped of these things. And there are some things that you can be stripped of in a worldly sense, but this type of stuff is untouchable. And so there's a sense of peace within that like rust can't corrupt it, that type of thing. I do get too some personal fears as well that can be coming up. having these two sides of Hierophant of like the material and the spiritual, as values transcend like purely material things, like it goes above and beyond that, but it also includes it. And so it feels like that part is important too. There could have been stuff that you were trying to figure out materially as well, and it could have been something that you were potentially feeling worried about. I get though that you just showing up as best as you can is really the driving force here, and what allows things to keep moving and your journey to continue. The word Templar is coming through. Templar. I'm not sure like what that is meaning in this context, but that word is coming through. Templar with an A at the end. Okay. I am seeing some stuff that is yet to be discovered, yet to be found out, still sort of in a gray or unknown territory, but I'm seeing that there will be a development here. Having Temperance and having the Moon and Page of Cups below feels like there's still some stuff that you may be waiting on answers, but Temperance is saying that it is going to come exactly when you need it. So if there's some undiscovered stuff, some unknown stuff, some things that you're feeling into but still haven't like come to know yet, or come to figure out, or come to remember, or come to realize, or like whatever this is that you're working with over here, Temperance is feeling like when it's time, those things are going to be unveiled. And right now, if those things are not unveiled, it's because it's not any of your concern currently of needing to know those things. Like relevance here with this, it is going to be relevant, but the answers are not relevant right now. That doesn't mean that the questions aren't relevant. They are relevant. But as far as anything that may be veiled that you're trying to see behind, and this isn't meant to discourage you, like you're meant to keep doing what you're doing, but just know that if there's any point in time where you're like, I should have this answer already, but you don't, it's because it's still veiled, and it's still veiled on purpose. Because as much as you do have power over things, there are certain things that are kept sort of at a distance from you until it's time for those things to be coming in. So just know, if you're like, why haven't I found this out yet, or figured this out yet, or know this yet, it's not time for those things to be happening. But I'm definitely seeing it sort of be in your orbit around you. And it does feel like this is just an eventual thing. At the point in time when these things are meant to be unveiled, they very much will be. But don't look at it and be like, there must be something wrong with me for not having figured this out yet, or whatever. It's not on you. This is just the timing of things, part of which you don't have control over. I'm looking at Taurus, Sagittarius, and Pisces here. I'm seeing this being an encouragement for you to keep working on what you've been working on, to keep showing up. The energy of, how I'm seeing the energy of Taurus be channeled here feels like a reminder for you to stick with what you're doing and be okay with the unfolding of things. Taurus, I feel like out of everybody, for the most part, is seen, when I say everybody, I mean the zodiacs, I see Taurus as being a very slow moving sign. It's about when you put in the work and do quality, like eventually you're going to see what comes of it, in a way kind of similarly to Capricorn. But Taurus is about really, like, no matter what's going on, doing the right thing because you know it's the right thing to be doing, or doing things in the right way because you know it's the right way to be doing things, and being grounded in your values like that. So if there's something that you've been working on where you have to be in a place where you are aligned with your values, keep doing what you've been doing, but just be patient with the process, because I'm seeing there's going to be stuff that comes to light. And I'm seeing this be an encouragement for you to stick with this and don't change what you're doing. Unless you're like, oh, I should change what I'm doing. But for the most part, this is like in an adaptable type of way. But as far as your constitution here, like stick with it. You don't have to, I'm not saying you need to bend with anything here. This feels more about like your resilience and sticking with this and being like not giving up. Taurus, also seen as being like a stubborn type of energy, like dig your heels in, keep doing this. I'm seeing it be like that for you, okay? But there can be some things that are coming into question where you're like, maybe you feel like this thing had knocked your confidence a little bit, but your guides are like, stay confident, like stay trusting yourself, stay believing in yourself, keep doing what you're doing. There can be some worries that are coming up, like what's going to be happening, and maybe feeling stuck at times. I'm seeing there be anxiety about maybe sticking with something that feels important to you, whether it be something that's physically playing out or it be you aligning with your values. It's important for you to just keep doing that. It feels like one of those times where like your faith or your beliefs can kind of be being put to the test right now, and you can be questioning some things. I wonder too if you can feel like there's a lack of recognition here as well. So Hierophant can be like, I'm finding these answers for myself, and as I am becoming my own inner authority, I can trust my own judgment. And this is the way that I know is like resonating within me. But Eight of Swords can feel a bit truncated within that at times. But this feels like continuing to work with this part of yourself, even though some of you, I'm wondering if you feel sort of like condemned for your beliefs or something like that. Even though you can be like, this is the way, like these are the answers, because I'm seeing the Hierophant be very, very genuinely, like you have connected with something that is very true and very real for you and very deeply resonating. But Eight of Swords can almost feel a little bit like feeling like you're being pushed into something because of that, or kept somewhere because of that. This feels like not giving up and just continuing to work on your heart space, and also continue to express yourself, even if it can be feeling pretty difficult to do right now at this time. And to also to keep following your intuition, because it feels like you've already come this far working through a process where there's been a lot of times where you've had to be feeling around in the dark, intuitively speaking, and guiding yourself through, and you've come this far. It feels like just an encouragement for you to continue doing that, as there is like there's more ground to cover and there's more mystery to be unveiled, and you're being strongly encouraged to keep following your inner light as you move through this, and that eventually like everything is going to be coming to light. But just know that you will come upon the right stuff when it is time for that to be happening. I'm also seeing you working with your subconscious as well, so you can feel like more things are coming to light as you work through this process. You can be figuring things out externally, simultaneously figuring things out, understanding things on an internal level as well, and taking the time to be down for this process and to participate. Yeah, I'm definitely getting like a bit of conflict within the environment, but you're being encouraged to just keep moving through this and keep doing what you're doing. Okay, I'm gonna tune in and see if I can find anything else within here. I feel like these values that you've been developing have offered you a type of comfort that you had been seeking. So I'm seeing that be something where it's important to hold on to those things, because if they're something that helps you stabilize internally, it's important to stick with them. So it feels like that is being highlighted, and to be patient and again, like sort of dig your heels in with this. Yes. Something that's developing. This has been developing for a long time. Eight of Pentacles means that this is something that you've been working on, that is, you are getting nearer to the end of this. You're not at the end yet, but you're getting nearer to it. Queen of Wands and Page of Pentacles is feeling like you getting help. Eight of Swords with something that you could be feeling down about, feeling worried about, feeling anxious about, feeling stuck about, feeling like, what am I supposed to do here? It can be that type of thing as it relates to something that you've been working on. So I'm seeing this just be encouragement for you to keep doing what you're doing and keep sticking with this and to not give up on it and to stand tall. And to continue being true to yourself and expressing yourself as well, to not back down from this, okay? All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. 2555 on the time. That can be choices and changes that happen exactly when they're supposed to. Decisions can be associated with that too, and then things that change as a consequence of them. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you for connecting. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.